Can you make a full-time career?
You got the news one day late.
कितने meltdowns देखे हैं आपने?
हर्षद मेहता का scam. I decided not to play.
So loan लेकर invest नहीं करना.
I again got carried away. I was left with a much smaller kitty. I had to control my emotions, whether it's a bull market or a bear market.
Technical better होता है फंडा से और
everything depends on what suits you. There's no one size which fits all. That was an opportunity for us.
Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Bill Ackman, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Dolly Khanna, Ashish Kacholia. Who are these people? These are very, very successful stock market investors. And everyone, each one of us is determined to become one of them. We wanted to live our life off stock market investment. But is it really possible? Can you make a full-time career? Let's find out. Hi, Ambreesh. Welcome to our show.
Thanks, Varun. It's great to be there on your show. We've been talking about it for a while, but then finally, today I'm there on your show.
So finally, I was requesting you to come to our show and finally you got the time today. Okay, Ambreesh, before we jump into discussing a lot of things about stock market,
right?
Let me ask you a question. How did you start your journey? कितने साल पुरानी journey है? And I have been following you on various business channel on CNBC, Z Business.
Right.
I always wanted to talk to you one-to-one. थोड़ा journey के बारे में बताएं and then we'll build it from there.
Journey, I need to go back to the 1980s. जब मैं कलकत्ते में था, I just got into college, and 1983-84 the IPO bug bit me.
Okay.
So इसके बाद the next few years I was playing in the stock markets, got tied down to the daily excitement. Again, I was running a stockbroking business on the side. I was a sub-broker to a main broker. So initially, I would go blindly with tips being doled out. I used to buy based on those tips. जैसे कि अभी भी जो नए investors हैं, उन लोग भी सब tips पे invest करते हैं. So it was no different. I was also investing based on tips. In a couple of years, I did start doing some basic research. And although we didn't have those means like today, at a click of a button, you get. उस वक्त वैसे नहीं था. The only thing you could depend was on annual reports, newspapers and magazine clippings. और जो बॉम्बे के जो पेपर्स थे, फाइनेंशियल एक्सप्रेस या इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स, वो केवल शाम को आते थे कलकत्ता में. So you got the news one day late.
So इंट्राडे का ट्रेडिंग का तो कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं होगा फिर तो.
नहीं, तो कॉन्सेप्ट था उस वक्त भी. Intraday tha, one could trade for a week, a fortnight, because those days you had that long settlement period. So यदि मैं आज लेता हूँ तो I did not pay on T+2. I could pay after 15 days. और वो भी like it used to get carried forward. So one could actually leverage quite a lot in those days.
So 1980s, 2022, we are talking about roughly 40 years now, right?
Right.
कितने meltdowns देखे हैं आपने, अमरीश? कितनी बार स्टॉक मार्केट गिरा और आपको लगा कि अब तो सब खत्म हो गया?
काफी मेल्टडाउन्स देखे, पर 2-3 मेल्टडाउन काफी बड़े थे, तो वी कैन एक्चुअली टॉक अबाउट दैट. जो पहला जो मेल्टडाउन देखा था, बट इन फैक्ट लेट मी गो बैक अ बिट. फ्रॉम 83-84 टू अबाउट 1991-92 मैंने काफी अच्छा कमाया वो 10 साल में. इनफैक्ट आई हैव मेड इनफ प्रॉफिट्स टू बाय अ हाउस, अ कार, का काफी लग्जरी व्हाइट गुड्स लिए. नॉर्मली जो उस वक्त उस जमाने में जो लोग 40s या 50s में लेते थे, आई वाज बाइंग दैट इन माय मिड 20s.
वंडरफुल.
लाइक इट वाज अ गुड गोइंग फॉर मी एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. पर जो पहला जो मेल्टडाउन देखा था वो था हर्षद मेहता का स्कैम. तो उस वक्त आई वाज टोटली क्लूलेस.
ओके.
मैं होल्ड करूं या बेचूं या एवरेज करूं, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा था. But in that meltdown, I got completely wiped out. In fact, मुझे करीब 1 साल लगा जो मैंने लोन्स लिए थे वो मैंने to pay back. And that was my first lesson. My first lesson was I decided not to play beyond the money which I have. जो मेरे बैंक में है, play with that.
So लोन लेकर इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना.
हाँ, लोन लेके इन्वेस्ट मत करो.
Okay.
At least that doesn't suit me.
Okay.
काफी लोग करते नहीं, that's a different thing. But this one doesn't suit me. So that is the first decision which I took. And even as of date, I've stuck to that.
Okay.
But उस वक्त, one good thing which happened to me was I shifted to Mumbai.
Okay.
And this is the place to be as far as stock markets go. Or because of my job, I got into full-time investment as a profession. Because मैं fund manager बन गया था of a PMS. So interacted with some of the best minds, and that also helped me improve my skills. But एक ही बात था कि I still could not control my mind. I again got carried away in the Ketan Parikh bull run.
Okay, interesting. It's getting very interesting now.
और उसके बाद जो crash आया, though it wasn't as bad as Harshad Mehta meltdown for me, but still जो काफी profits बनाए थे, वो profits में से काफी मेरा निकल गया. I was left with a much smaller kitty.
Okay.
But then that is when I trained myself to stay away from the crowd. Train myself not to get carried away. So I had to control my emotions, whether it's a bull market or a bear market. तो इसका जो पहला टेस्ट था मेरा, वो था 2008-2009 में, क्योंकि 2004 से जो बुल मार्केट चल रहा था. So in 2008-2009, I was comfortably sitting on decent amount of cash. I booked my profits. I was sitting on cash. I went wrong for possibly, I think, about 8-9 months, maybe close to a year. I went wrong. मैं बोल रहा था कि market is too expensive, better to stay on cash. But then I was wrong for that period of time. But after that, I was proved right. And it really was so helpful that I was sitting on cash, markets cracked, and that was a great time to invest. और उस वक्त सब लोग बोल रहे थे कि ये bear market बहुत लंबा चलने वाला है, things are over for the time being. But then all of us know कि 2014 के बाद किस टाइप का bull run देखा है हम लोग ने. So I could utilize that cash to invest at that point of time, and again reap during the last bull run.
So अमरीश, काफी लोग आई एम श्योर जो शो देख रहे हैं उनका एक विश लिस्ट है कि शायद वो फाइनेंशियल फ्रीडम ले ले और स्टॉक मार्केट पे करियर बनाए. इस पे डिटेल में बात करेंगे शो के सेकंड पार्ट में. यू कॉल योरसेल्फ एज फंडामेंटल एनालिस्ट, राइट? और एक तबका है जो बोलता है नहीं, टेक्निकल बेटर होता है फंडा से, और कुछ कहता है फंडा बेटर होता है, कुछ कहता है टेक्नो फंडा,
राइट?
सो उसके बारे में थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करो. मैं भी कंफ्यूज हूं. मैंने 8th क्लास में फर्स्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट किया था, बट आज तक मैं कंफ्यूज हूं फंडामेंटल बेटर या टेक्निकल. और आपसे थोड़ा सीख लेते हैं आज. क्या करें?
There is nothing like what is better. Everything depends on what suits you. क्योंकि investing is actually a very, very personal game. You cannot say that this will suit you well or something else will not suit you. You need to decide what suits you the best.
Sure.
Yeah, so there's no one size which fits all. So every person has a different temperament. So one should try out various options, find out what suits them,
sure,
and adopt a process which they are comfortable with. So you should basically like what you're doing. And I think that's most important.
But millennials तो बोलते हैं instant gratification. They like intraday, they like option trading, they like all these new age stock market.
So that is fine.
Value investing की तो कोई बात ही नहीं करता.
Yeah, but then you should try it out. If it's not working out for you, then try fundamentals. That may work finely for you. So fundamentals typically for those people who are looking at long-term investment. They should have that patience, wherewithal of analyzing data, reading balance sheets, digging out information, correlating that information which is there. Whereas technical analysis is more for traders, so which is what people look for, that instant gratification. Yeah, they could look at technical analysis, and again, these are experts. Technical analyst is typically an expert at reading the graph. So they neither follow financials nor the news flow. The graph gives them all the pointers. It gives a complete picture to them. I'll just give you an example, sort of whether you believe in astrology or not, that's a different thing altogether.
Sure.
Then when you go to 5 different astrologers with the same horoscope, they may come up with 5 different interpretations.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with analysis. The data you have is the same. The graph which you have is the same. Depends on how you interpret it. And that's where the expertise lies.
Agreed.
So as far as I'm concerned, I follow fundamental analysis because I invest more on longer term basis. But for reconfirming an entry or an exit point, I take a help of a technical analyst.
Okay. So techno funda is still, the best approach.
I mean, you can call this somewhat techno funda.
अमरीश, एक बात बताएं मुझे, थोड़ा सा पर्सनल क्वेश्चन है.
Right.
फंडामेंटल एनालिस्ट आप हैं, प्राइस तो आप डेली देखते होंगे ना. आज टाइटन ऊपर गया, आज आईटीसी ऊपर गया, या कोई स्मॉल कैप ऊपर जा रहा है, गिर रहा है. फोमो नहीं होता कभी?
Not really.
ये स्टॉक मिस हो गया, निकल गया आगे, फटाफट से ले लूं आज, बाद में रिसर्च करूंगा, पर अभी ले लेता हूं.
No, not really, because see, I mean, I have trained myself not to get moved by such things. I mean, every day you see, I mean, you look at the top gainers, you'll have 20 stocks which have done extremely well, and possibly you've not bought any of those. That's fine. Because if you look at my tagline in all my social media handles, every day is an opportunity.
Yes.
So market, I think, is the only place which gives you an opportunity every day. You just need to spot it and utilize it. And remember, never to regret a missed opportunity. Again, the question which you asked me.
Yeah.
Never regret a missed opportunity, because market which goes up does come down, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think the biggest mistake people do is to jump in at the wrong time due to that fear of missing out, FOMO, jo bolte hain. And I mean, if you have missed out an opportunity, it's fine. I mean, there'll be many more coming your way. But then due to FOMO, you buy and get stuck. It will actually affect your other opportunities. You may have the opportunity in front of you, but then once bitten, twice shy sort of the effect kicks in. And you say, nahin, abhi wait karta hu.
Abhi wait karte hain.
So there are times that we missed an opportunity after doing months of research, but it's fine. I've learned to accept it.
Probably it is easy nowadays when to buy. आपने रिपोर्ट पढ़ा, मैं अगर HDFC सिक्योरिटीज का रिपोर्ट पढ़ के मुझे समझ में आता है टारगेट है. When to buy is probably easy, and the most difficult thing here is when to sell. How to decide on that selling point? And everyone wants to do bottom fishing, sell at the top. That is not possible. But still, sell कब करें? हमारा स्टॉक वीक हो गया, बेच देना चाहिए, वो कैसे पता चलता है?
So let me just take you back a bit on as to how we buy a stock. Then I'll talk about how we sell. So as contra pickers or value buyers, which I am, I mean, we look for stocks which are undervalued and not too much in the public glare. So not too many people looking at it. Or even if it's in public glare, it is from a negative perspective. So iska मैं एक example दूंगा, ITC. I mean, everybody was so negative on this.
इतने memes बने हुए उसके ऊपर तो.
इतने memes बने हैं. I mean, that was an opportunity for us. Because looking at it fundamentally, we saw there was nothing wrong.
Yes.
So when people are so negative on it and the stock was hammered down, we saw that as an opportunity and buy. And if you see, that was one of the very few stocks which performed, which outperformed.
Yes, yes.
Market नीचे आया और ये ऊपर गया.
Yes.
But then, see, I mean, every time we don't get an ITC, but then a couple of check boxes which we tick. Most important is management. I mean, I believe managements are not white or black. There are various shades of gray.
Yes.
So you look for at least slightly lighter shades of gray in the management. Then long-term prospects of the sector. I mean, that should be good. Should not be too leveraged. But if it's leveraged, then we should be able to foresee the future free cash flow so that it gets less leverage. And like I said earlier, I mean, like getting the buying right is important. But more important than that is getting the selling right. And again, not to regret it.
But वही तो confusion है.
लोग stock लेते हैं, हम एक price target रहता है for the same. Yeah. But again, a price target is not something which is fixed. You need to keep reviewing it on a very regular basis क्योंकि results आते रहते हैं. Every quarter you see the results. News flows रहते हैं. There can be some incidents which can happen. So one has to review this on a regular basis based on the, like I said, performance, overall economic environment, news flows. And one pertinent question जो हम लोग like every time we ask ourselves is, if we didn't have this stock in our portfolio, would we buy it at that specific level? So if the answer is yes, then we continue to hold the stock and increase our target price.
That's a wonderful way of analyzing a price. Yes.
But when the answer is negative, we start booking profits. We say, okay, we target apna achieve ho gaya, let us start booking profits. And again, mind you, we could be wrong.
Yes.
Because see, when I am selling, someone else is buying. Kisi ko to positive about that stock. So those who are buying may have deeper pockets, may have seen something which we have missed out. तो हम लोग के बेचने के बाद भी वो स्टॉक ऊपर जा सकता है, काफी ऊपर जा सकता है. But again, I'm using this word again and again. We don't regret.
कभी अमरीश ऐसे नहीं लगा कि कोई स्टॉक खरीदा और दिल से लग गया वो एकदम कि यार ये तो फ्रेंड बन गया मेरा स्टॉक, इसको तो कभी नहीं बेचूंगा?
करना नहीं चाहिए.
कभी दोस्ती हुई स्टॉक्स के साथ?
दोस्ती करना नहीं चाहिए.
दोस्ती नहीं करना चाहिए.
बोलते हैं ना, घोड़े को घास से दोस्ती नहीं
करना चाहिए.
It's like that. So again, in such cases, जब स्टॉक बढ़ जाता है, we again review to see as to where we have gone wrong and learn from it.
अमरीश, आपने फाइनेंस बैकग्राउंड से डिग्री लिया, मैंने फाइनेंस से लिया, बहुत सारे हमारे फाइनेंस प्रोफेशनल फ्रेंड्स हैं जो आज देख रहे हैं, बट मुझे प्रॉब्लम आता है नॉन फाइनेंस का. कोई सेल्स डोमेन में है, कोई इंजीनियरिंग है, कोई सिविल इंजीनियर है, कोई कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री में है. सबकी एक तमन्ना होती है कि स्टॉक मार्केट में इन्वेस्टमेंट करें.
राइट.
तो वो बोलते हैं कि वरुण कुछ बता दो कौन सा खरीदना है आज. जब मैं उन्हें बोलता हूँ कि नहीं आप स्टडी करें, तो बोलते हैं हमें कैसे आता है स्टडी, हमने तो क्या समराइज कर दूं मैं स्टॉक मार्केट से फाइनेंस वालों के लिए?
देखिए, इफ द स्टॉक मार्केट वाज नॉट मेंट फॉर नॉन फाइनेंस इन्वेस्टर्स, तो देयर वुड हैव बीन टू सिनेरियोज. एक है, वी मे नॉट हैव सो मेनी पीपल इन्वेस्टिंग इन द मार्केट, क्योंकि वो बोलते थे हम लोग फाइनेंस में नहीं है तो हम लोग इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे. और यू वुड हैव सीन एवरी अदर यंगस्टर ऑप्टिंग फॉर अ फाइनेंस कोर्स. दिस इज नॉट ट्रू. सो व्हिच मींस across people should be able to invest. Because I think people like us who possibly make it complicated for lay investors. But investing is more of a common sense. And basically, I mean, how do you control your emotions? It's basically a game of psychology. I mean, if you're able to read the balance sheet, it's an added advantage. I don't think that's the only thing which is required. Because there is so much of information today available in the public domain. And basically, one has to put in that effort to read and analyze logically. You need not do data crunching. You need to read, understand, and analyze it logically. So
I have many doctors friends who are very good stock market traders, by the way.
Yeah. And see, I mean, like you talked about engineers and stuff like that. Tell me, I mean, a chemical engineer, I mean, understands chemistry very well. Last 5 years was the time for specialty chemicals.
Yes.
And they are the people who would have possibly understood, if they were there in the stock markets, next big thing to happen to the Indian stock markets is specialty chemicals, not we. It is they who should have.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, as doctors, I think you should be able to understand the pharma industry better than us. Pharma and healthcare industry better than. So I think people like those should, I'm not saying that they should be investing only in those sectors, but utilize your skills in those sectors and capitalize on it.
That's a great point, Ambreesh. But adding to that,
and let me just add one more thing out here. Yes. So even coming to a portfolio construction, if you actually look at it, it's a no-brainer. Because the safe portfolio, हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, safe portfolio में 60% आप large cap और blue chips ले लीजिए, balance 40% mid cap और small caps होते हैं. तो typically एक portfolio में 20-25 stocks रहते हैं, उससे तो ज्यादा रहना नहीं चाहिए. लोगों के पास होते हैं 50-100 stocks होते हैं, but typically a good portfolio should have 20-25 stocks. So one needs to choose only 15 stocks from the top 50. And only the other, those 10 stocks in the portfolio, you need to put in some effort, reading up and doing some basic research.
But Amrish, kick तो उससे मिलता है ना जब 20% का अपर सर्किट लगता है. रिलायंस पे तो 20% का अपर सर्किट नहीं लगता, तो वो कैसे कंट्रोल करे इमोशंस हम?
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that comes through experience. I mean, I also made that mistake running after stocks. So, like 15-20% बढ़ते हैं, उस वक्त तो वो भी नहीं था. You didn't have circuits. When I started investing, circuits भी नहीं थे. So anything would have happened in those days. So I used to, run after momentum stocks. I made money. I lost a good amount of money. So finally, I found out what is good for me and what is not.
Agreed. So 40 years of your career, Ambreesh, आपको तो सोचा होगा आपने कि 40 साल सिर्फ स्टॉक मार्केट में पूरी लाइफ बिता देंगे. काफी सारे लोग मेरे से पूछते हैं, कैन दे लिव ऑफ देयर लाइफ, एंटायर लाइफ, बाय जस्ट इन्वेस्टिंग इन स्टॉक मार्केट? पॉसिबल है तो कैसे, अगर है तो?
Okay, let me just tell you one thing, that 40 years I spent in the stock market, but that was not my only source of income.
Okay.
So I was quite fortunate कि ये शुरू हुआ था मेरे लिए हॉबी के हिसाब से in college. And then my first main job which I got also was related to the stock markets. So I was quite fortunate to be in the right place at the right time, with my hobby getting converted into my profession. Yeah. So on one side I had my personal portfolio, and I used to also earn because I'm working for an organization which is into the stock markets. But coming to your question, yes, why not? Why can't someone make it a full-time career? They can, no doubt. There are quite a few people now who have made it the full-time career. But I think one should be very clear about your objectives. And at the same time, they should have very high level of discipline. And again, before you make it a full-time career, you should have had some track record of consistently winning. But every person has his own trading or investment methodology. Like I said, you can't copy someone else's. You have to develop your own, what's the best. And one should be decently sure that it works most of the time. And at the same time, I would say that don't put all your eggs in the same basket. Diversify your investments across asset classes. So have some enough emergency funds. And I think having another source of income in the family is, again, an added advantage. Because, again, I would say markets is a mind game.
Yeah.
So as long as your mind is free, you're not tensed, you tend to take the right decisions, more of right decisions. And more right decisions means you make more money in this market. And other thing to remember is that this is not a 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. job. One needs to allocate a good amount of time to study, whether you're doing technicals or whether you're doing fundamental or whatever else.
Agreed.
And most important, there should be a proper work-life balance. And again, this is in your hands, since you're your own boss.
I agree. A lot of points to be considered before you think of jumping to stock market as a full-time career. Ambreesh, you touched upon a very good point.
Let me add one more thing.
Okay.
I think the most important factor is to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And don't ration your spends too much. Because, again, what is the choice? You'll say, okay, I have to go for a holiday, be spending about $1 lakh on that holiday. Should I spend on the holiday? Spend 1 lakh on the holiday, or should I invest that 1 lakh in ITC?
Oh, that's a very good question. Please give me the answer then.
No,
what should we do?
So here you have to have a proper balance.
Okay.
You spend. See, end of the day, why are you earning? You're earning to improve yours and your family's quality of life.
Great.
And see, when people talk of compounding, they say this stock I invested 30 years back, it has given me 25% CAGR. There are 1 lakh has become 3 crores. But 1 lakh has become 3 crores. And those last 30 years, if that was your only source of income, what have you done?
Yeah.
Your 30 years of life is wasted watching that stock.
Yeah.
You invested at 30, today at 60. What will you do with that 3 crores?
Yes. If you have not spent that.
Yeah. Enjoy life. Have a balance. Enjoy
Since
life.
you talked about age of 60, Ambreesh, there is another debate which keeps on going on: dividend stocks versus growth stocks.
Right.
Vedanta gives X percentage of dividend, ITC gives Y percentage of dividend, and another stock doesn't give dividend at all.
Right.
Which one we should choose? Does that depend on our age or any part of the year, any time during the year? When do we choose dividend over growth or growth over dividend?
No, see, typically when the markets are range bound or dull, possibly dividend stocks look better than growth stocks, because at least you're decently sure of regular income at that point of time. But then it's not always one against the other. I mean, your portfolio should have a mix of dividend stocks because, again, it improves the of your portfolio overall. And there are many a times when dividend stocks have given you at least a good capital appreciation. So, you can't have a portfolio which is fully dividend yield stocks. It should have a mix. And typically, I mean, the portfolio which I have has about 10-15% of good dividend yield stocks.
Okay. And there's a new fad going on investment in the US stocks. What is your take on that?
No, I mean, see, as long as you are able to keep a tab on global markets and especially the US markets, why not? Okay. Because as far as I'm concerned, I find it difficult. I have my plate full with the Indian markets. So I have not gone on to invest in US markets.
You have a very good knack to pick up good quality stocks, Ambareesh. Do you still give your money to someone else to manage, like investment in a mutual fund or ETF maybe? Or you believe in direct equity exposure? That's a personal question, Ambrish. That's the format of our show.
I understand, but I don't believe in giving my money to someone else to invest. Since I've been in the markets for this long, I prefer managing it myself. But that does not mean that I don't invest in mutual funds. I do invest partially in mutual funds, no doubt. I mean, that's only from a diversification angle. Really, expecting the mutual fund to outperform my portfolio. But then it's more from a diversification perspective.
Okay, wonderful. So we are about to end our show, Ambrish, and I would like you to actually give advice to the first-time stock market entrants, trading versus investment. What should they choose?
Again, I would say it's a personal choice. I mean, something which works well for me may not really work well for someone else. Because when you talk of trading, there are various ways of trading. There's even a day trader who buys in the morning, sells by afternoon or evening, and gets out. And even a day trader can make good money consistently if he's disciplined. Most important thing in investing or trading is discipline. And people lose because they don't have discipline. But however, I mean, what I've generally seen in the past many years is that successful traders make good money.
We have a lot of examples across the globe.
Yeah. But a good long-term investor creates wealth. Which means traders tend to spend more than investors.
Great. So that's the golden point which I'm taking home today, Ambrish. Long-term investors create wealth, and whatever suits you, trading or investment, choose your stream very wisely. And let me thank Ambrish on behalf of the entire LABGB team for taking time out.
My pleasure.
Always lovely talking to you, Ambrish, and hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.